food or even organic food.
Aside from Chinese-style restaurants, Wong says some Western eateries are also trying to gain a foothold in the market by appealing to younger customers. Owen Fung, TVB News.
In sports now, Novak Djokovic won his 5th Australian Open title, beating Andy Murray in 4 sets. The two players split the first 2 sets in tiebreakers, and Murray appeared to have the upper hand with Djokovic dealing with hand and ankle problems. But the world number 1 recovered to win the 3rd set 6-3. The Serb then closed it out 6-love for his 8th Grand Slam title. Atop of the Premiership clash as Chelsea hosted Manchester City. Here's Jameson Wong.
Loic Remy in for the suspended Diego Costa gave Chelsea the lead in the 41st minute at Stamford Bridge. Manchester City, though, equalized 4 minutes later after a mistake by keeper Thibaut Courtois. David Silva scored his 7th goal of the season, 1-1. Former Blues stalwart Frank Lampard came on for City with about 15 minutes to go, but neither side could steal the 3 points. Chelsea maintained their 5-point cushion at the top of the league. Manager Jose Mourinho, now the silent one. So Manuel Pellegrini, the stage is yours.
Well, I think that our team tried to win the game from the first minute till the end. I'm very proud about that because it's not easy to come here to Stamford Bridge against the leader of the Premier League with very good players.
At Old Trafford, Manchester United moved up to 3rd place after beating bottom side Leicester 3-1. Robin van Persie and Radamel Falcao were among the goal scorers. Southampton, a point back, hosts Swansea Sunday night. Jameson Wong, TVB News.
And the weather, sunny periods tomorrow with a high temperature of 19 degrees. And that's the news. Good night.
Earth Live was brought to you by Prince Jury and Maurice Lacroix.
You're watching TVB Pearl. At Shopee we present Crazy World Stories. Stay with us. Here are this year's Best Actor nominees. Steve Carell, Bradley Cooper, Benedict Cumberbatch, Michael Keaton, and Eddie Redmayne. But only one will take home the Oscar. Hui Optical celebrates the Oscars on Pearl.
Are you ready for a big night out?
Mumbai oozes urban cool.
Seems everyone's crazy about Bollywood around here.
Luxury.
Welcome to a 5,000 square feet presidential suite. Your 15 rooms in this very suite.
And history. Monday, Globe Trekker at 8:30 on Pearl.
Costa Rica and Panama were formed millions of years ago when the volcanoes erupted under the waters between the Americas, forming a sort of bridge covered in luxuriant vegetation, the Isthmus of Panama. This natural land bridge, crossed by mountains and rivers, shelters and amazingly rich biodiversity. Men from the Mayan world to the north and the Incan to the south lived there in peace until Christopher Columbus arrived. Riches stolen from pre-Columbian empires were transported across the isthmus and loaded onto galleons sailing from Spain. With conquest came the massacre of the Amerindians, who today make up only a small percentage of the population. A few tribes like the Chocoes, peaceful nature lovers, have preserved the heritage and the spirit of their ancestors. In 1948, Costa Rica abolished its army and started setting up natural parks. Today, 25% of its territory is protected, a world record. Ecotourism is the country's principal activity today. Costa Rica's biodiversity also attracts the pharmaceutical industry, which extracts the essences of the country's 10,000 listed plants to create the remedies of tomorrow. The supreme symbol, the quetzal, the sacred bird of the Mayas, is extinct in Central America, except in Costa Rica, where it flies freely over virgin forest.
And for the next half an hour here on TVB Pearl, we delve into the world of business and finance in Money Magazine.
This is real. The president is dead.
Get in the car and let me do what I know how to do.
Margot still has control of one of the drones. It's heading towards London.
They've hacked into our feed. They can see everything we can.
We're expecting company.
Tuesday, 24. Live another day at 10:40 on Pearl.
When you're on the ground, your ankles are rotating, and that signals the stretching information to the brain to control the muscles to keep you in balance.
Have our inventions hurt us?
When we run with shoes on, we're actually running in the wrong way.
Monday, hands and feet at 9:30 on Pearl.
Appetizing authentic Japanese teppanyaki. Flower inspirations for Valentine's Day. Sweet Italian jewelry. And the latest from the art and design exhibitions.
Thursday night, Dolce Vita at 10 on Pearl.
Longines presents the Longines Hong Kong Masters 2015. Live February the 13th to the 15th on TVB Pearl, the official host broadcaster.
Hello, welcome to Money Magazine. I'm Linda Kennedy. Tonight, the ideas deficit in Hong Kong. We ask why it exists and look at where things are better. And one such place is Israel. Join us on a research trip to learn how they incentivize business creativity and imagination. First, the stories that moved the markets.
Hong Kong's exchange fund suffered its worst performance in 3 years. Hong Kong Monetary Authority reported the fund made $43.6 billion in revenue in 2014, down 46% from a year ago. The fund suffered a loss of $52.7 billion in its foreign exchange portfolio because of a strong US dollar. Local equities made a $6.5 billion gain, while foreign equities made $33.7 billion. Bonds contributed $47.3 billion, while other investments added $8.8 billion. The National Bureau of Statistics reported that industrial profits in December fell 8% from a year earlier to 850.7 billion yuan. It's the biggest drop since October 2011. For the whole of 2014, profits rose 3.3% to 6.47 trillion yuan. The profit decrease was blamed on lower prices, rising costs, and significant profit declines in the oil and coal industries. The Bureau's calculations include companies with annual revenues exceeding 20 million yuan. China's coal production dropped for the first time in 14 years. The National Coal Association reported China produced 3.5 billion tons of coal in the first 11 months of 2014. That's 2.1% down from 2013. The official Xinhua news agency reports that profits of major Chinese coal companies dropped 44% in that same period to 110.5 billion yuan due to slower demand. China depends on coal for 80% of its electricity supply and about 2/3 of total energy. The Xinhua news agency said China's Securities Regulatory Commission will look into stock margin trading operation of 46 companies. It reported the regulator is concerned the Chinese stock markets are becoming over-leveraged and vulnerable to a crash. Hong Kong investors will soon be allowed to short sell A shares traded in mainland China. The Hong Kong exchanges and clearing told stockbrokers that it would conduct tests over the weekend. The decision came more than 2 months after the launch of Shanghai Hong Kong Stock Connect in November. The stock exchange aims to launch the service in February. The Financial Services Development Council said Hong Kong needs to strengthen training for local professionals in order to stay competitive. The council said there's a lack of staff supply in areas like compliance and risk, and in private banking and insurance. The financial sector will need to hire 10 to 15% more to meet business demand.
We have to focus on several economic indicators announced in the US, such as the employment data and also the PCE inflation data. In this week, the economic data will give a more clear picture to the markets, and I believe the Hang Seng Index will trade in the range between 24,500 points and 25,000 points level.
Now, in the past month and a half, Hong Kong stocks have gone through a volatile period. The Hang Seng Index saw a 1,700-point swing. With Chinese New Year up ahead, does the market offer investors a chance for good fortune? We've asked 2 analysts for their advice as they go head-to-head.
Of the stocks chosen by our 2 analysts last time, only China Communications Construction, picked by Stephen Leung of UOB Kay Hian, reached its target price. So we've invited him back. Stephen's first pick this month is
FTSE China A50 ETF, the stock code 2822, managed by CSOP. The latest round of the re-rating on China equity market is basically triggered by the interest rate cut last November. And since then, the China Composite Index has climbed by around 35%.
The A50 has surged by more than 47% during the period, despite dropping 3% in the last 3 weeks. Stephen says the ETF has been shooting higher because it consists of mainly financial components like banks and insurance companies. Both sectors are benefiting from the rate cut. He expects more cuts in future to push these counters higher.
PBOC will continue to provide liquidity in the market, no matter how through the medium or short-term facilities or just resuming the reverse repo recently. It is very likely we will see a cut in RRR or interest rate during the first quarter this year.
He says the quantitative easing by the European Central Bank will also provide fund inflows and fuel appetite for A shares in China. Stephen says the ETF is better than other similar products listed in the market. There's another reason for Stephen's choice.
MSCI annual review on whether adding more weighting to China market will be another